Should have been a bit higher, to be honest with you. Get away now. Right. Right, I put it on mute so nobody can ring and mash up our live, yeah? So let's wait for the family to get here and jump in on this because I don't want to be here all day. But yeah, we're going to fire off on these. We're going to find out why I'm calling it black faces, white masks. Like, I don't know if you're aware of Frantz Fanon, a revolutionary author. That's the name of one of his books, Black Faces, White Masks. And when I was in jail, they won't let us have that book because his writing is revolutionary. For some reason, they don't want us to have it. So that's what I've called this specific live. Black Faces, White Mask. And I'm about to unmask the enemy. Yeah, so let's give it 5 minutes. Let me get a glass of water. I'm going to join you guys. Okay, guys. Let me see who's here. I've turned the screen down, hopefully, so the battery saves. When I started, the battery was at 90%, so hopefully it gives us enough time, yeah? Hopefully that gives us enough time to get through the material. He, she, the mother, father, creator, deities, who nothing will exist except by way of Kolum, the all, mother, father, creator, deities. So yeah, today I want to talk about the real enemy. A lot of the time we ask ourselves, we stick on the Muzungu thing and we start asking ourselves, you hear black people saying this, like, how did this happen? How did these Muzungu just like destroy us, just take over us? Like, it doesn't make sense. No matter what angle we look at it from, it don't make no kind of sense. So we're gonna unpack that, yeah? How did they do it? When did they do it? Their true origin. We got to understand that it's more to it than just the little pieces, bits and pieces that they give us from conventional history. Is this too high? Let me turn it down a bit because I can hear it too high. Put it in the background. Even if you can't hear it, it's on in it. So we've got that vibration, but it's a bit too high. Yeah, so a lot of the time we're stuck in this race thing. We keep thinking that the Muzungu just of their self just woke up in the cave one day and said, listen, let's take over the world. And they had the means to just take over the world. That means we couldn't defend ourselves. We must have been some shit people if they could just wake up in a cave one day, having no brain, no technology, nothing about them, and just come out into the world and conquer everything. So the wise person already knows, okay, there's parts missing, because that story don't make no sense, because we know how capable we are as a people Okay, so it's not just specifically, as you always see people doing, stuck on race and the Muzungu. It is, they have a massive role to play in there, but there's more to it than that. So I'm going to go back to the start, as I always do with these timeline styles, and I'm going to bring it up to date for you to fit this into the narrative, exactly who these beings are. When you hear Rod and the young elder and certain people talking about the children of Enlil, we're going to put a context to that, yeah? And shout out to both of them master teachers, yeah? So if we go back in the story, we go back to the Anunnaki Dissected lecture, when we was talking about the wars, the great wars in the heavens, the first war with the insectoids, and then the second war with the reptilians. Let's go back to that just for a minute. So we know that the previous Anu, who was called Anshar, he decided through his chief scientists to create new life forms because they wanted to celebrate new forms of life. It's the Most High can do that. If you're the Most High, you can just say one day, yo, I want new life forms. I want to experience some new benevolent type forms of light. So we're the ones who was creating all these different life forms. Now, this Anu, he had a chief scientist called Mother Hubbard. The chief of his scientists was a female, yeah? And she secretly had an agenda against that coming Anu. She didn't feel like he was capable of being Anu. And then so after she created these life forms, she started creating certain life forms with an agenda that favor her. So if she wanted to overthrow the Anu, she's got soldiers who can back her up. So we'll get to that. But anyway, this Mother Hubbard, her being the chief scientist of that Anu, Anshar, who was in the seat at that time, when it came time for the changeover for the next Anu, she felt like, well, I'm the chief scientist. So because I'm the smartest scientist, chief scientist, really, doesn't matter if I'm a female, I should be the Most High. I should get to sit in the seat as the Most High. So she had an agenda from the beginning, along with Anu's brother, whose name is Alalu. And we'll get to him as well, because I'm going to give a face to these characters for you so you can fit them into the narrative. Okay? So both Mother Hubbard, the chief scientist, and Alalu started scheming to overthrow the new Anu, which is Razael, the one on the seat now. And during the time of the first Anu, I know this is a lot to take in. During the time of the previous Anu, Anshar, when he wanted to create these new forms of life, as we've said in the previous Anunnaki live, that backfired on them, because after they created the dragonfly being, that they created multiple different other insects that came out the dragonfly. So all these insects, and we was in the constellation of Pegasus at this time, some 66 billion years ago. When we created these insect beings, they started multiplying too rapidly, and some of them were made to be aggressive by Mother Hubbard. These aggressive insects started taking over the galaxy. We've unpacked it before in the Anunnaki Live. They show you it in the Aliens movie franchise, Prometheus movie franchise. They show you these insect beings that were, Mother Hubbard made them to take over Anu, to overthrow Anu. So that led to the first war with the insectoids, where we had to run Ras from Pegasus and come closer to these parts of the cosmos, because the insects had taken over there. Do you understand? We then created bird beings. As we know right now, if you see flies and bugs and insects, what eats them? Birds eat them, right? So we created the bird beings, or the avian race, who vibrate up to the 8th and 9th density. So they're some of the highest beings next to us, the ancient ones. We created them to go against these bug beings, these insect beings that had been taking over certain constellations like Pegasus. Remember, this started from Mother Hubbard, right, and Alalu, and they're scheming to take over the seat of the Most High, or the role of Anu. Yeah, so we created these bird beings, these avian beings, to fight against these insectoids, and we left Pegasus and came into different constellations, like closer to this neck of the woods right here. Okay. So you have Alalu, Anu's brother, and you have Mother Hubbard, and they've instigated this insect wars in Pegasus. Therefore, we had to create the bird people to go against these insects. We also, because at this time, Mother Hubbard has still not been found out that she's a schemer. She's working undercover, just like the devils do. So she's playing friend. Anshar and them probably don't even know what she's doing behind the scenes. You understand what I'm saying? So it was also ordered that we make some reptilian beings. We've explained where the reptilians come from. Shout out to Empress Lotus and Mahogany X. I can barely see the screen because I'm trying to save the battery, right? Yeah, shout out to you guys. So we created the reptilian beings what are known as Maldekians, and they was on our next door planet, which was Maldek, that was next to the Earth. There was reptilians being created on there. And as we said, first they were the little frog beings. They weren't the tall alpha draconian reptilians that you see today. All the reptilians come from them little frogmen. And don't get it twisted, them little frogmen are aggressive. They will fight you. Do you understand? They're what you call the ninjas, but they made into a cartoon, the Ninja Turtles. It's really talking about, that's really their name, the Ninga fleet. The J is a G, Ninga, ninja, same thing. And they're the ones that attack Nibiru because they're aggressive, they're warriors, do you understand? But the reptilians were grafted from them after Mother Hubbard and them thought, okay, let's start mixing some of these bird beings with the reptilian being, with them little frogmen beings, the Maldekians, 4 foot, 5 foot tall Maldekians, yeah? So they started mixing the bird beings, yeah, with the frogmen. And that's how you get the Alpha Draconians. That's their origin, that's where they come from. The reason why they don't have a king and they worship a queen is because their queen is Mother Hubbard. She made them so she could rule over them from the Dracos constellation. You understand? And we're going to tie this together for you, okay? Now, when she recreated certain ones of these beings, yeah, Maldekians, Markabians, reptilians like the Draconians and them, she created them deliberately as recalcitrant beings. When you see the word recalcitrant, it means that no matter what you do, they're going to end up rebelling and lashing out and being evil. And do you understand? They've just got that nature. It's in their nature. You'll never tame that part of them. They're recalcitrant. That means they regress. They want to go backwards instead of progressing forward and growing in their consciousness. And you understand what I'm saying? And their empathy and that. They kind of regress in their emotional state. Do you understand? So she made them recalcitrant beings. And over time, she made so many different species of these reptilian beings. The most refined ones, who they call the royals, look like me and you. They don't look like lizards. They look like black people with maybe little pointy ears, that the ear comes to a little point, but they look like any black person walking this planet right now. They're also reptilians, and they're the top of the chain. They're the royal family. So when you go into all that religious shit about Satan and people saying, oh, Satan don't exist, he does their form of him does exist. The true Satan, or Lucifer, is Tarnush, who is the father of this devil in the Bible. The father, the head reptilian, is called Tarnush. And when he went around with this second war, when he bought a war in the name of Mother Hubbard and they did this second war, they killed a whole bunch of Anunnakis, or what you call humanoids. And what they did is mixed in with these humanoids. Tarnush himself mixed with one called Myleta. So his offspring is who you're calling the devil, or who the Bible's calling Lucifer or Satan. He's half Alpha Draconian or Vulcan, which means he's a reptilian, but the ones that look like black people. And he's half Anunnaki, good human. You understand? So he's unpredictable. He's like they're a rare breed. Do you understand? They're not really a sanctioned being. That's like breaking galactic law, doing that if you don't have permission, because you're going to make unpredictable characters or unpredictable beings. And he was seen as one of the 100 most brilliant personalities of his kind, and there's over 600,000 or 800,000 of this type of reptilian, these mix-up guys who are not sanctioned. And out of this 600,000, which is a small group compared to other numbers, like there's 7 billion humans here, so 600,000 is not a lot. Do you understand what I'm saying? But out of that 600,000, he's one of the most 100 brilliant personalities out of all 6,000 of them. And you're talking about a youth, man. That's why they give you this heaven story with the devil in heaven as an angel and stuff, because after they won the war, they tried to take in this half-breed, Michael and them, Murdoch and them, Enki and them, and they tried to reform him. They tried to raise him up based on his mother's nature, meaning the Anunnaki nature, rather than the reptilian or Vulcan nature that come from his father Tarnush, and they failed. They weren't able to do it. That's why he got kicked out of heaven. He had to leave Nibiru, because they couldn't reform him. The devil couldn't be reformed. That's why you hear 5% as a Moorish scientist and them saying, yo, you can't reform the devil, because that was already tried by one of the most knowledgeable of the Rizkians, who's Michael in the Bible, or who's called Murdoch in Sumerian tablets, the son of Enki. Let's continue. So they have a regressed spirituality and depend on technology. Also, them same frogmen, they're the being that was used to graft the Greys. The Greys are more than one group. You have good Greys called Ramadians, and you have bad Greys called Markabians. And they had a war amongst themselves, a civil war. The Ramadians versus the Maccabeans on Mars and destroyed Mars. Nuclear bombs and shit were let off on there, yeah? That's a whole other life, yeah? But, so yeah, the Greys are tied to the frogmen too. They all have the same kind of genetic root, the same genetic source, the reptilians also. So Tarnush, the father of Lucifer, is the one who first rebelled in the name of Mother Hubbard and started what's called the Galactic Republic, the first Galactic Republic. So remember, the Galactic Federation was formed. So this Earth project as a seed planet was an attempt to make all these groups that warring with each other live together in the same neck of the woods in peace. So they started Project Blue Rock or Earth so that certain different groups could store their DNA here. So if they ever needed to come and replenish their DNA is here in the library. Earth is like a library, it's like a archive, so it's a seed planet. Many beings are taken from this planet and put in different constellations, so this planet is very important, and certain beings fight over this planet with different agendas, you understand? It's like two drug dealers fighting over a patch because this is a lucrative patch. So both of them want this spot. They might want it for different agendas. One might want it to run his heroin thing. One might want it to sell weed or cocaine or whatever. But it's a lucrative area. They're going to fight over this area. So this is how you have to look at Terra or Earth. A lot of aliens are interested in this real estate. They want to invest in this real estate because it's lucrative. Do you understand what I'm saying? On many different levels. Let me light my spliff. So Tarnush started the Galactic Republic by rebelling against the rule of Anu, the new Anu, Razael, who was crowned as the Anu, the Most High. These lot rebelled against that Anu because they felt like he cheated to be the Most High. You can go back to the other lives to get the details of that. But it was Mother Hubbard, Alalu, the brother of Anu, who was banished from Nibiru, yeah. Obviously Tarnush, who started the Galactic Republic in Mother Hubbard's name, and his son, Lucifer or Halal in the Quran, or Shaka or Satan, Diablos. All of them four are in a pact together, and Enlil joined that pact because he also ended up, I want to throw my dad off the seat, and I want to take this shit over. So we're going to get to these characters, Alalu and Enlil, and unpack it for you because there's importance that you get this part of the story. Let's start with Enlil. We hear a lot about Enki and Enlil. And when you read the Holy Tablets, it tells you that Enki is the disagreeable one and Enlil is the agreeable one. Because Enki's mum is a Vulcan, or one of them humanoid black-looking reptilians, yeah? She's the draconian princess. Id is her name, yeah? And Enlil's mum is a full-blood, good Anunnaki, or what you call Riskian, humanoid, yeah? And she's also the half-sister of Anu. So he gets privilege over Enki, even though Enki's born before him. Because one, Enki's not full-blooded Riskian, he's half draconian through his mom. And two, in the blood laws of the Anunnaki, if you marry a half-sister from the same father but not the same mother, then that seed takes precedence over any other seed you have over any other woman. And that trickled down to Earth, where you see the pharaohs do it. They'll have a wife that's their half-sister. It trickles into the Bible. You've seen the Bible, they do it. Abraham and them are telling you, yo, Sarah's my half-sister. You understand? And then it goes into Islam, same thing. They marrying their cousins and their sisters and stuff. If you go into the Indus Valley, them Hindus and shit, they doing the same thing. If you go into South America, they was doing the same thing up to a certain point when the genes were still pure. From the time the recessive genes were introduced into this planet, then all that was outlawed. You can no longer marry your half-sister. That came to a stop. Because if you do it any further, now you're just going to be inbreeding, like you see these degenerates doing, the royal family and that. Now it's inbreeding because it's all recessive genes. So your seed's going to suffer. It might come out with one leg longer than one, or it's the bone structure's weak, or some parts are missing or corrupt. You understand what I'm saying? Let's go on anyway. So yeah, they founded the Galactic Republic when Anu won the competition to become the Most High, the last one. And that started the Lyra Wars. Because what Tarnush and them did was, there was, in this part of the cosmos, there was a student exchange program like we have on Earth. You take a group of Earthlings and take them to the planet Ira in Orion. And you take a group of beings from Ira and they come to planet Earth. And we have exchange programs. So they took advantage of these draconians. They thought, okay, let's go to the home of the gods, this new heaven that they built, this Lyra, this ALYUN. We're going to go there and fuck shit up. So they had this intention. So they used the student exchange program. They've turned up in ALYUN. Obviously, the Riskians have let them come in and let them like stay on one of the continents and whatnot. To speed up the story, they ended up bringing war to us and jeopardizing Rizk itself and the whole of ALYUN by hitting the planet with a shield depleter and basically smashing up the ozone layer. So they were suffering the same thing we're suffering here with the global warming and the climate change, because they've got free suns, and the UV rays was doing, like, you could say 30 times as much damage as our UV rays are doing here, because the free suns they got there are super massive. It's not like our tiny little marble ball we got here calling the sun. No disrespect to the sun. Do you see what I'm saying? So they started these wars and broke off. So remember the Galactic Federation, which consisted of 23 major groups of aliens who contributed their DNA and chromosomes, but each one of them groups subdivides into different tribes and different races. You understand what I'm saying? So those 23 groups that came into the Galactic Council, once Tarnush did what he did, he split it in two. Now, all of these beings are like, who am I going to side with? Am I going to stay with the old council, with Anu and them? Or do I really believe what this Tarnish is saying? Because he was preaching a new doctrine called religion, as they tell you in the Bible and in the Quran and stuff. He had a whole new view. Yo, F these, man. Let's do it this way. Let's just abduct people and run our own stuff and all of that recalcitrant shit. So certain beings, 1/3 stayed with the, 2/3 stayed with the original, the good side. But 1/3 went with Tarnush. 1/3 of all these beings. So you're talking Greys, Riskians, Markabians, Ramadians, Pleiadians, Andromedans, Arcturans, all these different aliens. 1/3 of them said, yo, I'm riding with my man. Do you understand? And 2/3 stayed put. And then further to that, the 2/3 that stayed put broke into, the Galactic Federation that Tarnush had started, that broke down again and split in two. And out of that came the Ashtar Command, which is Alalu and them. So let me finish with Enlil. So Enlil is the agreeable and Enki is the disagreeable, according to the Anunnaki, yeah? Because Enki was against their plans. Yo, let's just make some slaves, yeah? And make them mine the gold for us and all of that. Yeah, that was the Anunnaki's agenda. So if you're against that agenda, in the Anunnaki's eyes, you're disagreeable. But if you switch it round to humans, Enki's not disagreeable. To humans, Enki's agreeable because he was sticking up for us. So regardless of what the Anunnaki say, oh, he's disagreeable because of this and because of that, according to us down here, he's our father. He developed us over these millions of years to be the Pentium image of them themselves. That's and Enlil and them wanted to stop that shit. So even though he's seen as good to his side, yeah, to us humans, he's a demon. Because he tried to wipe us out. He wanted the ice caps to melt and flood us out. He wanted to wipe us out. He's the antagonist. He's the one in the Bible calling himself God or Yahweh as to why he keeps promising things that he can't keep. He's telling these people, I'm going to promise you this land. I'm going to promise you that land. I'll show you right now. If you got your Bible with you, take it out right now, yeah? And I'm going to show you that the reason why God keeps saying, oh, I'm going to give you children of Israel this land, and I'm going to give you children of Israel that land, is because they ain't got no land. They don't come from here. They're not even supposed to be on earth. So having no land, they have to go around and snatch mine in your land and steal our birthright, yeah? So if you go into the Genesis 4 story, it's giving you the story of Jacob and Esau and how Jacob stole Esau's birthright. If I steal your birthright, that means I stole everything you're entitled to. If you're the firstborn, you're entitled to inherit the property or the house or the money in the bank. You got entitlements. You got entitlements and rights by your birthrights to the land. So if now they trick you out of your birthright, like they've told you in their book in Genesis 4, verse 7, they tricked us out of our birthright. If you read the whole of Genesis 4, you'll get the full story. Yeah? And the word Jacob itself means supplanter. And if I supplant myself, that means I'm going to take whatever's here, remove it, and put myself in its place. So I'm going to supplant you. That's the same theme as colonizer. I'm going to come to your country and remove you, and I'm going to put myself in your place. Then I'm going to give you a false identity, because this is identity theft. I'm going to say I'm you, and I'm going to tell you you're black, or you're something else, you're a nigger. or you're black, or you're British, or you're the Hebrew Israelite. You're the Muslim. You're all of that shit. And me, the Muzungu, I'm all of this. I'm Egypt. I did that shit. I'm Sumeria. I did. That's what they've did. They've gave you a false identity, and they did that by passing acts like the Dawes Act in 1887 in America, where they renamed people and they redistributed land that wasn't even theirs. They started calling indigenous people the word black, yeah, to cut you off from what you really are and make you into some legal term so you don't even have no rights as a human being. And that's the reason why, yeah, we should have a problem with the English word black. Do you understand? But they switched that shit up with the Dawes Act, yeah? I'm going on, you know I'm going to build up to something. So anyway, this Galactic Republic broke again, split in two. When it split in two, it also became now the Ashtar Command. The Ashtar Command is Alalu. He's the head of that shit. Now let's get to the character Alalu. Alalu, as Anu's brother, he thought that he was supposed to rule, just like Mother Hubbard. It's like, yo, I was supposed to win this competition. Anu cheated because it was him and Anu in the finals, in the last round. Two brothers. They aced everybody else, all these different races of beings. Now it's two Riskians in the final, two brothers versing each other for this seat. And he really felt like, yo, I'm supposed to have this seat. And it came to a kind of like extra time thing where the previous Anu had to step in, and when the previous Anu stepped in, who's both of their father, Alalu feels like, hold on, you favored Anu. You wanted my man to win. So he's got a grudge. He's got a brother with the chip on his shoulder. Do you understand? So Alalu was cast out of Nibiru. He fought with Anu and lost the fight. Anu beat his ass up. Yeah, they threw him off the ship. He came to Earth. He established places on Earth like Pumapunku in America and Olentetambu in America and Sacsayhuman and what's the other one called? Tiahuanaco and stuff that don't have no record on Earth as to when they were made. That's why you have some Americans rightly saying, yo, some of this shit over here is older than Egypt. They're right. They're not lying. Do you understand? Some of that shit goes back to the time of Alalu before Enki and them even came here. I've said this before. But also, make note, it doesn't make sense arguing about who came first or who came. We're all indigenous to the planet. We are the first everywhere. So it doesn't matter who came first everywhere. We came first everywhere. Us. So stop arguing about whether America's older than Egypt and all this shit and making black Americans a separate entity from black British or from black Australians. Yo, we're all indigenous. That's what we are. And we need to stop it with this shit, with this divided stuff. Okay? So Ashtar Command today is the same blonde-haired, blue-eyed Palladians that come on your YouTube and everywhere else and present themselves like they're friends of humanity and they got solutions for us. Alalu, Anu's brother, went through many changes. When he got cast off to the earth, he ended up going back to Neptune, where they have what's called nomos in West African country. These are reptilians that are water reptilians. They live in the water like fish. So sometimes they're depicted as fish, even though they're reptilians. So when he went to Neptune, Alalu, he wanted to marry, he's a big ego guy. He wanted to marry the queen of these nomos, of these sea reptilians. And they was like, listen, we don't marry no one that's not our own kind, you know. They're racist. They're like, hold on, we don't marry no one unless you're a nomos. So Alalu, being who he was, knowing what he knows, actually spliced himself, because he's got an agenda, spliced himself with these beings. So from the waist down, he appears like them. She accepted him. He marries this queen. Yeah, now he's got his own army and his own people of Nomos that live on Neptune. When the Nibiru passed there and caused the electrical storm, yeah, it killed a lot of them. But at the same time, Alalu and them had already started the project of making avatars. Yes, the movie Avatar. So these avatars that they made is the Ashtar Command that you see today. Blonde hair, blue eyes, 7 to 8 feet tall the men, 6 to 7 feet tall the women. These Palladians flying around here contacting people like Billy Maya, who's one of them, who incarnated on Earth. These people here, the Ashtar Command, that's Alalu and them. But when that electrical storm happened, when Nibiru bumped into certain planets and messed up a lot of things, the electrical storm on the planet trapped them in them avatars. So they trapped in them white bodies, in them clone bodies, and they cloned themselves. They put the material in a test tube for 6 weeks. And in 6 weeks, they have the clone, the baby. That's how they breed. They're not like us. They're not fertile like us. But anyway, that's the story of Alalu. So down here, when you go into history and you see this man with the fish hat and the half fish body and they're telling you it's Enki. It's not Enki. That's Alalu. And he called himself the Pope. And so the Pope and them today, the Jesuits, they are followers of Alalu. That's why they wear the fish hat, the mitre. You see the connection? He wears the fish hat and it's connected to Dagan. And that Dagan is actually Alalu. Yeah, and today he's going by different names, like in the Islam, Allah, and all these different, it's the same Alalu. Do you understand what I'm saying? This fish reptilian being who spliced itself, okay? You can go back to the Anunnaki Dissected live, and we unpack that in different ways on that live, but I'm going to leave that there for Alalu. So we've got Mother Hubbard, yeah? We've got Tarnush and Lucifer or Shaka, which is the Satan. You can call both of them Satan, yeah? We've got Enlil, who is this holy son of Anu, who's messed up shit, yeah? We've got Enki, who is supposed to be the bad son, who's really the good son, yeah? And we've got Alalu, Anu's brother. Okay, all these characters are working together other than Enki. They're working against Enki and Anu because they want to dethrone Anu. And it started from Alalu scheming with Mother Hubbard, the chief scientist, to create these insect beings and these reptilian beings for their own army. And they rule from, Mother Hubbard rules from the Draco constellation, while Alalu has gone back to Neptune because he just don't have no luck here. Nobody believed in him. Yeah. So today Alalu goes by the name Chiron, the blonde hair, blue eye leader of these Pleiadians. You'll see his face on YouTube. When they put these videos out, they put that guy there. They even use our names. So like Sandulfun and Sananda, they will call themselves all that shit. He will call himself Melchizedek. They got about 3,000 names where they're conning the people. And the white people down here that are telling you, oh, these Pleiadians are here to save us and they're good and they got good intentions, they're their hybrid children. They've got certain splices that are half Pleiadian, half Earth human. And they put them down here to give us this message of, oh, they're peaceful and they're going to give us medical breakthroughs and bullshit. Yeah, and they is the ones who came to President Dwight Eisenhower in 1952, and the reptilians told him, listen, we've already got a deal with these, man. Don't make no deal with them anyway, because you can't trust them. One day they'll be with you, and one day they will be against you. So when I say Tarnush and them broke into again, they broke into the Ashtar Command. So now you got the originals, the Galactic Federation, yeah, the 2/3, and then you get this 1/3, the Galactic Republic, and now this 1/3 is split into the Galactic Republic and the Ashtar Command. You understand? And the Ashtar Command are known as neutrals, meaning they will back any side where they see it suits them. They might jump on a new side for a bit because, yo, we getting this out of it. And then the next day, tomorrow, yo, I'm siding with these, tarnishing them, you know, because this is a better deal. Like, so you can't really trust them. So the reptilians down here was like, yo, don't worry about these guys. We got these guys covered. Just deny them. So because they came and tried to present themselves to humanity and make their own agenda, and they got denied, right now they've got like a hands-off approach. They just fly around and observe shit and stuff. But what they did, they kept in contact with certain groups of humans and started passing down technology to them, because that's breaking galactic law, what they're doing. So they started doing it snidely. They did it with Hitler, Adolf Hitler, and the Nazis. They started like broadcasting telepathic communications through certain witches like Maria Orsich of the Fool Society, all them German women with the long hair down past their ass and shit. And they used to be mediums, oracles, and talk to spirits and stuff. Some of them are pretty as hell, yeah? But them oracles, them German women, these beings, the Ashtar Command, Alalu and them, started communicating with them and saying, here's how you build a rocket. And once they see they could get away with it, yo, no one's caught on. Yo, give them anti-gravity technology. So they started passing information to these German oracles. And the oracles got that information passed to, well, not the oracles, Hitler and them took that information and passed it to the Nazi scientists. And they started developing these V2 rockets and all these like von Braun and all of these names you hear in history that developed all this rocket technology. Then they went on secretly to the anti-gravity technology, where they started making their own flying saucers, and they made what you hear called Die Glock, or the Nazi Bell, which was like a time machine slash a UFO. Do you understand? All this shit is for real, and it's the Ashtar Command that were passing them these technology, and they're going to pay for it too. So that's Ashtar Command. When you are online and you see this, oh, Galactic Federation of Light, and they're going to do this, know you well that that's Alalu and them. That's a big trick. It's a trick. Everything they've ever said, none of it's happened. Where's the medical breakthroughs? How long have they been on YouTube talking all this fairy shit, love and light shit? Do you understand? That's a trick, man. Especially for us. It's a trick for white folk, and it's especially an even bigger trick for us black folk. You don't want none of that. Turn that shit off. Skip past that shit. Yeah? Okay, where am I? So yeah, when Alalu was down here, he was a half fish ourselves. He represents in Greek mythology Poseidon, or the god of the waters with that trident. Yeah, but even though he represents Poseidon, he tried to cast himself as Zeus. Zeus is the equivalent to Anu in Greek culture. But while he was down here, he was telling the people he's Zeus, but he's not. He would be the equivalent of Poseidon. The equivalent of Zeus in Greek culture would be Anu, the Most High, not fucking Alalu. But he's down here as a trickster. Do you see what I'm saying? And now when you see the Pope and Dagan and all of that Allah shit, that shit's tied to Alalu. Make no mistake. Yeah? So Ashtar Command operate from Neptune. Yeah? They operate from Neptune, which was their planet, which is a water planet, being that there's Nomos on there. The original Ashtar Command did not look like what you see today. The original Ashtar Command is water reptilians, water beings. And they put themselves in them avatar bodies and became trapped in there. Yeah. So if you want to read about the birthright and how these people stole our birthright, and I'm going to get to these people, I'm deliberately leaving out their identity. You can go to Genesis 27 and it tells you, I think I've wrote down 27 down here. Hold on. No, I've wrote down another one. Go to Genesis 27 anyway, and that's where you will get the birthright thing with Jacob and Esau, and show you that he's the colonizer, he's the supplanter, he's the deceiver. And this is why all white people are so into this Jacob. Jacob is the patriarch. Jacob, they're talking about Jacob. Remember, in their language, we speak in English. They don't speak English. So they would have been saying Jacob, the same mad scientist that cloned a bunch of Aryans even before Earth Aryans were, in the time of these Ashtar Command, this shit was already done with Muzungu. They used Jacob, a mad scientist Dunakil, to create a bunch of albino people to take over the surface of the planet, and that shit failed. So when you see with Hitler, that's another attempt of the same thing, to breed these Aryan people. They show you in the Boys from Brazil movie, the project, that they was cloning these people. Yeah, and this goes back to Tartaria, and we're gonna get there, and how they wiped out Tartaria and replaced it with all these clones. It's clones, yeah. Right, so anyway, let me give you these two passages from the Bible because it links into what we're saying. So all the land right shit that I told you, God's always promising this land to these Israelites in the Bible, these Hebrews. This Yah, or God, in the Bible is Enlil. Let's check Genesis 50, verse 24. This is what it says. Yeah, and this relates to the story of Joseph, who we know is a Hyksos. And Joseph said to his brethren, I die, and God will surely visit you and bring you out of this land unto the land which he swore to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob, or Jacob. Yeah, you can check Genesis 15:7, Genesis 15 verses 7 to 8. You can check Genesis 13:15. You can check Joshua 5:6, and that links, in my opinion, to the story of Ramesses and the Battle of Kadesh, when it tells you, it's on record, that we started settling these people in Palestine and Jordan and Lebanon. These are the enemies we've defeated. But there's so many of them that were captured. We don't just kill man for nothing. We thought, what are we going to do with all these? We don't really keep prisoner of war like that. So it's like, listen, you man can have your freedom. You can settle here. But if you mess around, we're going to come and just wipe man out. You might as well settle here in Palestine. And in times of peace, you can farm the land, do what you're doing. Because remember, all that territory was Egyptian territory. Do what you're doing here in Palestine, you Palestinians, yeah? If you play it, we'll come and smack you out. Pay us tribute, and in times of war, put down them shovels and shit, and come and join our army as mercenaries. We was resettling these Muzungu in these areas, and it's funny, it seems like they already had that plan. They thought, okay, if we keep attacking Egypt, they're gonna have to give us our own land. We want this land that we've been promised, so they're gonna have to move people and put us in that land. These are the supplanters, you understand? But you can read that in Joshua 5:6, yeah? And link it, and especially if you've got treasures in the sand, which goes into this shit with the Battle of Kadesh story and that. Yeah, if you go to Exodus 23:31, it says, from the Red Sea to Palestine. So you're talking the whole Levant was stolen, and this is backed up in Deuteronomy 34, verses 1 to 12, when he's telling Moses, look east, look west to the horizon, all this land, I'm going to give you this land. That means that land wasn't theirs. They stole that shit with this birthright business. You understand what I'm saying? Genesis 26:3, Genesis 15:7 tells you from of Mesopotamia is where they came into this new land. We know that the Aryans came out the Caucasus Mountains, the steeps, yeah, and come and flooded out Samaria and took over Samaria and turned Samaria into Babylon. It's not the same thing. That's when they came and flooded the area and took over the area, and the area became the Babylonian Empire. So they came out of and Mesopotamia, just like it says in Genesis 15:7. Yeah, and then in Joshua 1:4 and 1:6, it says, yo, we're going to go in there and divide these people. Remember, the word Africa means divide and rule and conquer. And so here in Joshua 1:4 and 1:6, it says, yo, we're going to go in there and divide up the people and inherit the shit and take the shit. That's the colonizer's speech. He's telling you right in his Bible. Do you understand? And like I said, this jealous God in the Bible is Enlil. He's jealous of his brother Enki and the Earth Project, and the fact that Enki and his project has produced us. Yeah? Us, the super nigger. Do you understand? They ain't super niggers, them children of Enlil. They demons. Yeah? We are the super nigger. We're the ones that can run this fast or jump this high and are benevolent and create these spiritually progressive society. That's us, the children of Enki. Do you understand? They look like us, but they ain't us. Yeah? So that's why, because they're not promised, that they're not supposed to prosper here, they're not supposed to be here. Their God, Enlil, has to keep promising them land throughout this Bible and the Quran and all of that stuff, yeah? Exodus 20:30 says this, by little and little I will drive them out from before thee, until thou be increased and inherit the land. That's Enlil. That ain't your deity, black people, calling yourself Hebrew and calling yourself Muslim and calling yourself all this stuff. That's not your deity. He gave them your land. That's their deity. Why you think they became so powerful for? Why you sitting in your house praying to this same dead-ass apathetic deity? Come on now. You understand? Walk with me. And I will set thou bounds from the Red Sea, even unto the sea of the Philistines, and from the desert unto the river. For I will deliver the inhabitants, black people, yeah, of the Philistines, and from the desert, I will deliver the inhabitants into your land, and thou shalt drive them out from before thee. The inhabitants of the area into your land, and thou shalt drive them out. So they're going to come in and they're going to drive us out of our own land. Like you see all these black people that left where they was. You hear about West African tribes that say, listen, we used to live in the Nile Valley, and these Arabs, because they Mzungu too, these Arabs and shit came with this Zanzibar shit. We had to get off, bruv. So now we live in Benin. We call ourselves Yorubas. Or we live in Nigeria and we call ourselves Igbo. You know, all these are people in ancient times. They call themselves something else. Do you understand? But you have to track their history from what they say, not from what National Geographic says or from what some Mzungu says, studying these people. What do they say? Where do they say they come from? You go to the Dogons, you go to the Yorubas, you go to the Igbo, all of them tell you, yo, we was in the Levant, we was in the Nile Valley and stuff. And after the 7th century, the Arab conquest and that, yo, we began to jet. And we had to come west because we didn't want to be Arabicized. You understand? And that shit followed them into West Africa. You understand? Eventually. Right, where was I? So this links in to the tribes of Israel, and I'm going to show you how now with the dynamite. Give me a second. The wind keeps blowing my spliff out. Yeah, so they don't, the point I was making is they don't have no land, yeah? So read Genesis again in the light that I've just revealed to you, yeah? From Genesis 4 all the way through, yeah? They've got various different parts where it sells them out, like Genesis 27 with the birthright thing, they're supplanting niggas, yeah? And Genesis 50:25, remember this, when I say Esau and Jacob, them black Hebrew Israelites like to tell you, it's white man, yeah? They eat them, we're dealing with two black people, they're both black. One of them's a black devil that supplanted himself in our place. He looks like us, but he ain't us. He supplanted our shit. It wasn't white people. And I'm going to unpack these details for you now, okay? So these same black devils that mixed into us because they taking wives from us and shit. And so if they have sex with a good woman, now that child can come up with any genes. Them genes can throw up in that child now. So now they've mixed into us. We don't, some of our families have got these genes. You can have a cousin where you're like, bastard, my man's just fucking, I can't deal with my man. You understand? All of our families have got these genes by now. Yeah? You can have a cousin where you like, yo, my man just don't care about black people. He don't or she don't give a shit about none of this spirituality stuff. You understand? They look like us, they talk like us, they walk like us, they dance like us, they fight like us, they laugh like us, but they ain't us. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna show you how they did it. But they came in, yeah, to our territory. We're talking Africa and America. First, let's deal with Africa. They came in as Sumerians, calling themselves Sumerians, and calling themselves Akkadians, and calling themselves Babylonians, and calling themselves Persians. Remember, these are black folk. We're not talking about white folk here. We're talking about black folk. It's in history where you go to these Babylonian kings attacking Egypt and shit, all up to the time of Pharaoh Taharqa, which is up to like 666 BC. They were still attacking us. You understand? These black men from the Levant and shit, and black men from Mesopotamia, yeah, with their armies. I'm not saying they didn't have Mzungu with them. Of course they did. Even when you hear names like the Hyksos, that weren't white folk, you know. Go to Dr. Clyde A. Winters. Clyde is C-L-Y-D-E. Go to Dr. Clyde A. Winters' work, who's one of the most, profound scholars to me right now of this age, yeah? And he'll show you how most of these Hyksos was black people who came from India, the Indus Valley and stuff, and rounded up groups of Mzungu and came into Egypt like, yo, this is our shit, we're gonna take over. That's why they call themselves Kashi, which is Kush. They're saying, yo, I'm a Kushite too. They tried to come with that shit. They tried to say, yo, we've got a stake in this shit because we're black. We're Kushites, man. Yo, we want this shit. We had to fight them out with their white slaves and mercenaries and shit. We weren't just white folk. Yeah, this is black folk doing this. This is the children of Enlil that are mixed in with these same Vulcans, these black devil people that look like any other black human. That's their team. Mother Hubbard, Alalu, Tarnush, Halal, you understand? And now Enlil, the holy son of Anu, is throwing his shit into it. He's like, yo, I'm gonna throw, let's see it there. Let's make these humans go in there and fuck shit up. I didn't want them to have this knowledge. I don't like humans. He does not like your ass. He hates you. You understand? So he's working against you with the devil. You understand what I'm saying? So they came in under all them names: Sumerian, Shemites, Akkadians, Babylonians, Hebrews, Hyksos, Israelites, Kashi. You understand what I'm saying? And they tied themselves into your vine by raping out your women. Yeah? Them black devils did it by raping out your women and blending into you. And Ashtar Command did it by abducting women, yeah, and doing their hybrid program and putting little stuff in them and taking out embryos and then waxing it. They've got them in society right now. Yeah, some of them are white people, like blonde hair, blue eyes, and you can look at them and think, bastard, she do look like a Palladian. And some of them are mixed with others, like mixed race people. You understand what I'm saying? Don't get it twisted. Yeah, they tied themselves into our vine. Why you think black people can never find this holy unity? Oh, unity. Nigga, I don't want to unify with no black devils. Marcus Garvey said it. He said, yo, I can't take all of you. If I take all of you, y'all kill me. Some of you will get me killed. Because he knew, yo, some of you look like me. But you definitely ain't me. Like, we ain't the same. We built different, bro. You understand? So they tied into the vine the family lines and blurred the family lines. So now, from Australia to America to England to Africa, we've all got these recessive genes within us as to why certain things had to be outlawed. And so once they did that and tied themselves into our families, they got themselves into the highest institutions. Like, yo, we need to get into the priesthood, you know, and take that shit over. Yo, we need to get into the secret societies, you know, and learn all the secrets. Yo, we need to get one of us to be the fucking king. And they've been doing this from time ago. This is not a new strategy that they're using today, where they use their deceit and they use their Hegelian tactics. So when you read in Revelation 2:9 and 3:9, I used to think it was referring to just Ashkenazim, but it's not. It's referring to these black devils. I'm gonna tell you who they are. They're Moors, yeah? I'm not talking about all Moors. There are a certain group of Moors that when they came to power in Europe, yeah, and started eating babies on all this adrenochrome and Babylonian magic shit, and they got kicked out of Europe, and they came to the Americas and created a plan. Yo, we're gonna wipe out everything. We're gonna go around and take out everything. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use white people in our place. We're gonna put a white face on it. So this white racism supremacy is run by black folk. It's not even run by white people. When we talk about the Kaaba and the 13 bloodlines, we're just talking about the front men, the fall guy, so that you can never see this devil. I'm going to tell you what the Quran says to bring that message home to you, yeah? The Quran, this is Al-Quran, Surah Al-Araf, Ayat 27. Ayat means verse, yeah? So verse 27, chapter 7, verse 27, it's called Al-Araf, yeah? And I tell all you Muslims and Christians to read this verse. And it says, Allah is talking about the devil here, yeah? And it says, surely he sees you, he and his tribe, from where you see them not. Do you know how profound that is? You understand? Like in Christianity, they say, oh, the biggest trick the devil ever pulled was to convince the world that he didn't exist. But the Quran, Surah Al-Araf, yeah, in chapter 27, says, listen, my man's looking at you. He can see you, but you can't even see him in his tribe. Why? Because his ass look like you. You can't tell the difference. He sounds like you. He sings like you. Everything's like you. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they are the face behind white supremacy. There's 12 tribes plus one. The plus one is Dinah, who was a daughter of Jacob, who made the 13th tribe. And that's the 13th bloodline. Every one of them houses has a different black face behind it. But they put that front there. They put that pale face there to stop you knowing who the devil is, who's really pulling these strings. Does that make sense to you now? This is how they did it. It wasn't just some bunch of white people who woke up one day and say, yo, we're going to kick ass and just kick ass on all these black people. That's not how it works. In Ephesians 6:12, remember what it says? It says, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It wasn't just a human thing, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world. All of the darkness of this world, the rulers of that darkness, we're fighting against them. This is a spiritual thing. This is a spiritual, psychological war. This ain't just a race thing, or white people won. You understand? They were given that role by powers, their masters above them, these demons, these reptilians, these Enlilites and shit, yeah? So spiritual wickedness in high places, Ephesians 6:12, that's what we're fighting against. And then John 8:44, he says, ye are of your father. Yeah, he's talking about these same black devils. Ye are of your father, the devil. He's a liar and you're a liar. And you're going to do the shit that he used to do. The killing, the lying, the raping, the pillaging, the stealing, the colonizing. That's the shit you lot do because your dad did it, the devil. And that's the meaning of that John 8:44. No matter what them Christians try and tell you on that pulpit. Tell the pastor, get the hell off that pulpit because he don't even know what he's talking about. You understand what I'm saying? Where am I now? Yeah, so what they did, once they got to America, they used pale faces to infiltrate all the organizations, especially the Masonic ones. And that really started in the 1500s BC under the reign of Tutmosis III when he was out trying to kill these niggas, yeah, and trying to mess them up, these Hittites and stuff. Some of them were black too, and he was out there fighting so much that he hardly had time to sit on the throne in Egypt. He left, who did it, Hatshepsut. Yo, you can sit on the throne. I got shit to do out here. I'm the warrior king. He had 18 battles all in a row and never lost one of them, wiping out these people, black and white, the devils. He was fighting these niggas. They still using his tactics today. The nigga never lost one war. Do you understand? They telling me about Alexander the Ross Clark Greek and all these, oh, the greatest war, this and that. Who? You ever heard about Sultan Tutmosis III? Yeah, what he did? 18 battles. He was so dread that in one of the battles he turned up, he caused so much damage that white folk thought it was the end of the world, nigga. That's where they came up with the word Armageddon. Oh, it's Armageddon, Tutmosis come, everything gone to rest, clear. It's the end of the world. That came from us. When we have to decide, yo, you know what, we're going up there and bringing the war to the door, man, because this is not going to stop. So Tutmos was one of them. But I say all that to say, it was under his reign where these lot was like, yo, we need to start some secret societies because these Muzungu and these black devils, they come in to try and steal the secrets and kill our spirituality and blend into us. So now we have to have institutions where your nature is revealed. So we can say, nah, you're not worthy, you a black devil. They had to reveal your nature so they could know, yo, who were you? They had to unmask you. That's what all that masonry shit was about until they took it over, the black devils. And once they took it over and infiltrated it, they replaced their faces with white face, with the white face. All that Alexander the Greek shit and all that Roman Constantine stuff, that's the black devil sending these men out to replace their face with that pale face, to lead us off track. Do you see what I'm saying? So the American dreams, yeah, was these salty, distorted, disagreeable Zionist Moors, yeah, that had a dream of, yo, we can build an empire here in America and we can build a world empire and have a foreign policy and we're going to take over everything. We're going to replace everything. So they had started before that, but it was when they got into this American corporation which made them have these tentacles, this hydra, where they could go around and change the whole fucking world by the 1850s. You understand? So, and that Moorish takeover started in 711 AD. As I said, these bad Moors, because you got two houses, the red house and the blue house, the bad ones, they got kicked out of Europe because they got discovered doing sex magic and Babylonian magic and eating babies and adrenochrome, all of that shit. They got kicked out of Europe. Yeah, it was them ones that are doing all this skullduggery today. You understand? And they're based, they work now from America. Yeah, they're the ones on all of this colonialism bullshit. They started it and they established the ADL, Anti-Defamation League, and the JDL, Jewish Defamation League, to stop themselves being unmasked. Yeah, and they give us this race identity by saying you're black, you're white, you lot fight each other, and we'll just sit behind here, and none of you even know the devil exists and what's going on. But all this black boule stuff, we're gonna get to this because this is the history part. The next half I'm gonna give you who are these niggas today. Yeah. So Enlil is working with all of these bastards here, yeah? And these Muzungu that they bred on Earth weren't supposed to be on Earth, not even their own seed. The Black Devils is not supposed to be on Earth neither. But they did that because they were so jealous of Enki's project, which is me and you. They was like, yo, them black people that Enki made, they're the shit that. Yo, I'm so jealous, I need to make my own people. I want to have bragging rights. None of them can surpass what Enki did with us. Do you understand? We super niggas. They made us power. We can defeat Pleiadians, reptilians, all of them niggas. Do you understand? So the whole of them, they're jealous of what me and you are. Yeah? So they employed Hitler in these modern times to try again. Yo, we need you to make a super race that's better than Enki's super niggas. Yeah? And they tried that shit in 1936 after they bred up these fucking so-called superior race, these Aryans, these Nazis. Hitler, yo, let me put on a world show, 1936 Berlin Olympics. I'm going to test my super race against these super niggas. Get one of them super niggas from America, Jesse Owens, and let's test our product against him. Yo, Jesse Owens beat the brakes off them niggas, yeah? Hitler had to storm out the place. He was so upset. He went back to the Pleiadians, yo, we need more help, man. We can't beat these super niggas. He failed in his project. And they show you this, bits of it, hints that they were cloning people and having a eugenics project in the Boys from Brazil film. They went as far as every Nazi family that they thought, yo, they got good Nazi genes, you know, we'll give them a marriage loan. Oh, if you can have a loan, yeah, and for every kid that you have, yeah, it takes off 25% of the loan. So if you have 4 babies, you don't even have to pay back nothing. This is what's called positive eugenics. So they was already on this eugenics, having people, these Germans breed up bare Nazis and shit. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? And cloning. So when they came back into Europe to start fighting against the good Moors, they started removing the good Moors out of Europe. So you see them ghost towns in the Tartarian story where it's, hold on, the whole cities are built up and there ain't no humans there. Or the humans that are there don't look like the standard, the building looks smarter than the humans, put it that way. The humans are on horse and carriage. But these buildings are all like Roman and stuff. Like, how did they build this? These people look simple. Do you understand? So this giveaway is showing you, hold on, something happened here. There was more superior people here or more smarter people who built this shit up, and something happened and wiped them out. Yeah? This is the Moors doing this. When these bad Moors came and started replacing stuff in Europe and changing the real black nobility to themselves. Once they got in power, they now remove their face and give you all these like the Queen, House of Windsor, and all these royal families today, where they are putting white faces to block the fact that it's being run by them. It's not being run by no Muzungu. That's why you ask him, he says to you, yo, it was your own people who sold you. We didn't sell you. It's black people who gave us fucking slaves, Dan. What do you think they're saying? They know something you don't. They're saying you don't even know the half of it. You think it's the white man alone that's the devil. Yo, the devil sold you. He looks like you, rude boy. You don't look like me. Do you understand what I'm saying? We don't know this shit. We're only finding this shit out now. Shout out to Rod Hayes and the young elder. We had these missing parts, so we couldn't really make sense. How did they do this shit? This don't make no sense. Got me out here looking all crazy, feeling crazy. Like, how did they do this? You understand? Are we just nothing? Yo, I'm giving you jewels right now. And these children of Enlil, Enlil, what I said, I'm giving you jewels. They're called Jews because of the jewels that they used to wear to identify themselves as the nobility and the royal family and shit. And their religion is Zionism, not Judaism. Don't make the mistake. Their religion is Zionism. So they're Moors, which is kind of like a Muslim thing, but really their religion is Zionism. Do you understand what I'm saying? They are behind the state of Israel. They are behind the Corporation of America. They are behind the House of Windsor. They are behind the 13 bloodlines, what we today call the Cabal. They are behind the industrial military complex of America. They are behind NATO and all. Who do you think Tyson DeGrasse and all them scientists are? That seem to know shit, but don't never seem to talk about no black issues and shit. Who do you think Obama and these niggas is? Who came into presidency and didn't do shit for black people, but did shit for them. You understand? These are the children of Enlil. Who do you think all these musicians are that are telling your kids to go and be promiscuous and go and use drugs, codeine and amphetamine and all this mean, dean? Who do you think they are? Do you think they're us just because they look like us? Bro, I'm giving you jewels here, brothers and sisters. Yeah, so Jacob is their patriarch because Jacob was the first one, or Jacob, that they used to bring these albinos from the Aldebaran and Pleiadian genes, these pale albino genes, because you have human projects going on different worlds. So the Pleiadians, they come from a different world where a human project was going on, where reptilians were breeding, because remember there's a slave program. So they breed their food like chicken farms, and they trade them all about this motherfucker. Yeah, so them Pleiadians come from that. They ain't from Earth, but when they come to Earth now, they know, okay, they're our cousins. They got some more humans down here. And they look at our technology and they say, hold on, these niggas is primitive. They ain't even reached where we reach. We're about 3,000 years ahead of these niggas. You understand? This is how it is. We don't understand how dumb we are with this little 10%. Most of us don't even use 10%. Most of us are struggling to use 7%. And then out of that 7%, maybe 3% used to run your digestion, all your autonomous systems that you don't have to think about. So most people in the earth are probably using like 4% of brain power. That's about it. And then what you call a genius, like an Einstein or a Stephen Hawkins or Richard Dawkins, them niggas is probably still only using 11, 12% of their brain. It's a mad thing out here. And we're trying to stick in the Bible on some Christian stuff or some Hebrew Israelite crap or some Muslim confusion. We don't understand. This is what Jedefre came for. There's Muzungu right there next door. I don't give a shit. I ain't gonna like make myself lower. There's fucking Muslims, all types of shit. I don't care. Because I came here to speak the truth. And I don't apologize for it. So these Muzungu is Enlil's attack dog. They made these niggas. It's in the Sumerian tablets. They made these niggas so they can have an attack dog, so they can have an army to go against Enki's people, which is us. The Jacob thing happened 2,800 years before the birth of Canaan. Canaan was born in 4004 BCE. So we're talking 7,000 years ago that these Muzungu have been here. You understand? They came 7,000 years ago. That's when they finished that project. Yo, we've got our own army now, these recessive niggas, man. We're going to send them on a campaign. Alexander the Greek, yeah. We got these niggas. They got bloodlust. They ain't got no empathy. You understand? They're more like animal, man. Yo, we grafted them from the Neanderthals. These are different. Beast, man. Yeah, he's a beast on the battlefield. Drink your blood, yam your flesh. That's how these men are rolling. That's not you. They don't break every goddamn rule in this realm just to advance themselves to where they are today. So the 1500s was a Masonic takeover, yeah, and also the 1500s was the Dorian invasion in Greece. The Dorians are the white Greeks. Before the Dorian invasions in the 1500s, all them Pelasgians and Greeks, all the Greek myths, it's talking about black folk. It's not talking about white folk. Till we get to the Dorians, 1500. Greece was black, Manoah was black. Do you understand what I'm saying? But a takeover was happening. Same time in Egypt, same time in Greece. In Greece, it was Dorian. In Egypt, they call it Hyksos. Those are the same people. Those are probably cousins. You understand what I'm saying? And they call themselves Habiru or Hebrew. Hebrew, Hyksos, Dorian, whatever name. That's the same people. And we trying to call ourselves after them. Come on now. So that happened in the 1500s, and also that ties to India, where these Aryans came out the steppes, or the Russian steppes, the Transcaucasus, and they came down through Iran, which means Aryan. Aryan Iran is the same word. So they established themselves in Iran, but they was already running up in the Indus Valley, bleaching out all the people, as to why you have that Hindu caste system there now. This is the 1500s, all of this shit's going on. And they end up in the Levant, whole heap of them, because these black devils have sent them there. Go there. If you turn in your Bible, it says, and God told Abraham, yo, leave here and go there and take that shit, because I said. That's God in the Bible. You understand? He ain't giving, he's sending man for you to kill off your ass and take your land. That's Enlil. So yeah, they're calling themselves today, these Ashtar command, Pleiadians, but they're not really Pleiadians. Like I told you, they're supplanters. So anywhere they go, that's not who was there first. So even in the Pleiades, we had us there first. So sometimes you hear good things about Pleiades. And let me make clear, like I said, you have certain Pleiadians or certain one of these Muzungu white folk who are good. They're not on the bad side. They are Nibiru and shit. You understand? They make up that 2/3. And you have some that's on the devil's side. And you have some that's neutral on Ashtar command. Yeah, and it's the same with black folk, with Anunnakis. You have some that's still an original thing. You have some that spun off onto the Galactic Council. You have some that just don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't really care about this project. You understand? So you have that in every race. You have greys that are good, bad, and neutral. You understand? Everything you have a good, bad, and neutral. You can't just say, oh, all Alpha Draconians are bad. They have good Alpha Draconians too, who ain't on this agenda with the Galactic Republic and tarnishing them. And we don't get this. You understand what I'm saying? We kind of like paintbrush everything. Oh, these reptilians, so they're all bad. Or greys, so they're all bad. Or all black people are drug dealers. Or all white people are supremacists. All of that shit is just like, yo, that means you probably using 4%, bro. You definitely ain't using 10% of your brain. Let's leave it at that. You understand? So certain beings were sent here to us, black people, every 100 years, yeah, so that they could keep us at a certain level so we could go back up in knowledge when the time came for it. And I'll highlight 2 of these people for you. The first one is Noble Juwali, God rest his soul. He knew what the hell was happening. So he established what you call the Moorish Science Temple in America, which was the biggest Muslim organization in America until the Nation of Islam came. So the Moorish Science Temple was the forerunner of the Nation of Islam. Many of the teachings that went over to the Nation of Islam came from Noble Juwali and the Moorish Science Temple. And he was such a master of this knowledge that I'm giving to you, that every picture he left us, near enough every picture, there's a clue in it. If you can read the Masonic language, he's actually telling you what the fuck's going on at that particular time, even if he's standing like this. Everything means something in there. Yeah, and if you're able to read what he's saying, it's like, hold on, these niggas fitted the books. And yo, it's coming from the Red House of Moors. Oh, it's not all the Red House, it's just a small group of them. Okay, yo, they put pale face, like he was leaving clues, that's why they killed him. You understand? He was taking us back there, yeah? And they killed him. And certain people like Elijah Muhammad and Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, if Noble Drew Ali never came and made that Moorish Science Temple to the degree and precision of knowledge that he had, we would have never had none of them guys. But he gets overlooked. Everybody knows who Malcolm X is. Everybody knows who Marcus Garvey is, yeah? Most people, or more black people, know who Malcolm X is or Farrakhan. But if you ask a lot of black people, yo, Noble Drew Ali, either they've never heard of him or they think he's just some delusional Muslim. So they so deep in the spell, they would just miss the point anyway. Do you understand? So you had Noble Drew Ali, and they killed him, the men in black. They killed him because he was giving us Canaanite passports and everything. And when I say Canaanite, remember the original Canaanites were black. So he weren't trying to say we're white people, but he was just coming from another angle saying we're Moabites and Canaanites, meaning the original Phoenicians was us. So he was giving us Moorish passports and walking us out of religion and giving us the geopolitics behind all this political religious shit, let's call it that. And then after him, the next person I'll highlight is who I always highlight, Dr. Malachi York. This nigga wasn't no joke, man. These guys were sent here, and he was the one sent to, when you read in the Bible, the book of Malachi, and God saying in the last days, I'm gonna send my angel, he's gonna speak with a double-edged sword. We've been through that before. But these guys came here to unpack as consciousnesses that would unpack all of this shit for us so you could have people like Jedefre and the young elder and certain other people that are out here putting themselves on the line to break down this information so you can have it and digest it and process it, so that you could be saying what I'm saying now to somebody else, whether it's somebody who needed this in your family and inquired of you, whether it's a spouse, whether it's your children, whether it's a stranger. We all need to be doing this, not just me, not just Rashad, and then when he gets locked up, the whole shit's just fell down now because ain't nobody learned what the fuck he was saying. Everybody's just consuming, just watching shit. But nobody's trying to say, yo, how can I bring that? Even if I can't speak it, can I write it? Can I do it in art? Can I do it in music? Most of us just come here to consume. We don't want to change this shit. Look at this information that I'm giving you about what we're up against, these black devils. Like, we need every soldier right now. We need all of us to see through this shit and find out who they are. Like Tahuti said, yo, these were serpent-headed men. When we look behind the mask, these niggas had serpent heads. And we uttered the spell and removed their ass off the earth. This has happened before, like I've told you. This is meant to be the last time that it's supposed to happen. And it's our responsibility to make sure that it don't. But in order to do that, we're going to have to take action. We're going to have to take more action. You're going to have to come off that couch or sofa. You understand? You're going to have to come off IG and you're going to have to brainstorm some kind of, how can I contribute? What is my contribution here? You understand? Because we need soldiers, man. All right, so now let me give you who these niggas are. Who are they today? Yeah? Hollywood, the NBA, the NFL, baseball league, yeah? The black boule of Hollywood, the gatekeepers, yeah? Black people in the Freemasons, the Prince Halls and all of that shit, yeah? The black deans in the universities and shit. The black scientists, the black medicals, the black people who work in NASA, like Tyson DeGrasse. All of these, I'm not saying every black face you see in these institutions is one, but 9 out of 10 times you're dealing with black devils. Why do you think most of them NBA people are the height they are? You're dealing with people who came from Nephilim, who came from giants. That's why Shaq can be that height. That's why Kobe and them can be that height. We think these are good people. These are bloodlines, man. They chosen for that shit. They was always going to get into the NBA. Yeah? The musicians. When you see these musicians out here poisoning our children, and you're wondering, why don't they just sing nothing positive? Why do they keep singing about drugs? You got like $20 million now. You don't need to be singing about gangsters and shooting people and drugs and stuff. You're supposed to be like providing a different narrative for the youth to show them how they can be like you and escape the hood. Do you understand what I'm saying? But they get told, yo, you have to sing about guns. Do you think Mobb Deep could come and sing about fairies? To say, no, you know what? We ain't singing about the hood no more. Let's sing about trees. Yeah, they contract done. There's terms to that shit that they have to hold up to. And some of them, when they like, yo, I'm rebelling, they get rid of these niggas, like Prodigy, because they start revealing to you what's really going on. And still, most of us don't look at none of that. We just looking at all the promiscuity and gangsterism and sensationalism, and we miss the whole point. Yeah, and then we wonder why our kids end up worse than we are, because we didn't even govern what they was taking into their mind, all of this shit. So that's who they are today. And your black politicians. No black politician that sounds like Jedefre is going to make it into politics. Jedefre will never make it into politics. You think they're going to let me in Downing Street or into the House of Parliament? I'm not saying don't try, because we need to take back over everything and rearrange the shit. But you ain't never going to find a nigga like me in Downing Street or in politics. You understand what I'm saying? That's just not going to happen. So all them Diane Abbotts and all these black people that you look at them and you think, yo, where's my man from? My man look like a Frankenstein, like they made that nigga. You understand what I'm saying? We ain't in there. Anybody you see in there is from that black devil bloodline. Them black Zionists. They are the ones who sold you. So stop arguing, oh, African people sold us, I don't like African. Nah, nigga, the children of Enlil sold you. Where they were in America, they weren't just in Africa. They sold your ass from America too. Your ass end up in Scotland or end up in West Africa or somewhere else. You understand what I'm saying? So stop saying, dividing yourself from the rest of us. We're all indigenous. Let's get rid of them names, African, African-American, Black Britain, all of that shit. Nigga, we indigenous, that's it. We super niggas. How about that? And we came first everywhere. So watch people like Tyson DeGrasse and all of these people that they put in these positions to give us this poison, to give us these false theories, to mislead us. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because we are swallowing the Kool-Aid that they're giving out. Yeah? They're the ones who sold you and renamed you as black, yeah, and took your name away from indigo, from Indians, and started calling you black people and all this stuff, and made up this name white people, so they could take everything on the planet. Do you understand? But the face behind white supremacy is the same black Jews. White folk don't run nothing. Don't let them fool you. They're not that smart. And understand this. This is a magic spell, yeah, a time loop. That this same birthright story that I gave you with Jacob and Esau is a sequence that is, they repeat it over and over and over. And we're so dumb, we've only just found out. Hold on, this is how they do it. Okay, yo, this is how they do it. Like, you know, the dopey youth that's just woke up out of sleep, woke up late and shit. That's us right now. You understand? Because we've seen through it. They've been unmasked for you. Black face, white mask. This is them, the black Jews. And I'm not talking black Hebrew Israelites. I'm talking Zionist Moors, yeah, that go back to the Babylonian times and shit, that go back to Tarnush and Halel and Mother Hobba and Alalu and Enlil. We're not talking just black history Israelites. They're dumb. They ain't know half the story. They trapped in one thread of this shit. Do you understand? I'm trying to give you the whole tapestry here, so you could discern this shit for yourself. I really hope that you've had a pen in your hand and you're taking notes, yeah? And that you've checked out them verses for yourself in the Bible and in the Quran. Because I'm not here to try and convince you. I'm here to give you jewels, man, so you could take away something from this life, something that benefits you and gives you the power to transform yourself and make yourself better. So yeah, the time loop, this sequence that kept repeating, that they kept doing over and over under the name of foreign policy and colonialism, it's broke. The time loop is broken. The spell is broken. This shit ain't repeating no more. We're in a broken loop. Yeah? So understand that this loop was a magic. It's magic. That's why they don't want you to believe in magic. It's a magic. Word magic, sex magic, all types of magic. Dark magic, yeah? A spell of sleep, just like Dr. York told us. It's a spell of sleep, of racial and spiritual blindness. What is racial and spiritual blindness? It means that if anybody tries to untangle this race issue, you can't even get nowhere with them because they're racially blind. Oh, I don't really see color, you know. It doesn't matter what Jesus' color was or what God's color was. That's racially blind. Oh, color doesn't matter. Color doesn't matter. Why God put color here? Why is the fucking leaves green? Why is my skin copper tone? Why is he white? Do you understand? Why is he Indian? If it don't matter, why didn't he just make us all grey? The fact that it's here means that it matters. That's like telling the tiger, the lion passes him one day and says, you know what, your stripes don't matter. The tiger's gonna say, of course my stripes matter. Nigga, your mane don't matter. That hair that you've got, that shit don't matter. That's what humans are doing. They trying to tell you color don't matter. It don't matter what color Jesus was. It don't matter what color Muhammad was. It don't matter what color God was. Of course it matters. It matters that the tiger's got stripes, right? It matters that the elephant's got a trunk and tusk, right? So therefore it matters that you got melanin. Don't let nobody fool you. So this time loop's broke. Just like Dr. Mumbi says, the spell is gone. They out of time, yeah? But people are still in that racial, spiritual blind spell. And they're banking on a whole heap of people to stay under that spell. So when they get wiped out, you go with them. Because you're all under the spell, yeah? So when you try and talk to somebody this racial stuff, they have a negative emotional reaction to it and try and dead the argument. They don't want to have that discussion, whether they're black or whether they're white. And spiritual blindness is the religious people, where when you're giving them these Ma'ati and Jews and certain spiritual things, they go into that cognitive dissonance one time, which is another emotional reaction. And that's why it's so important, as I keep telling you as Jadefre, yo, learn your scriptures, not to believe in it. I'm not telling you go church and be a Christian, you know. I'm saying learn the shit like the back of your hand so you can shake up them Christians and speak to them so that, yo, I don't even want to speak to Jadefre. He'll mash me up. You think they don't know? They can't come to me with no Bible shit. Nigga, I'll mash them up and send them back to church with that Bible. They're going to have to come with someone else, like the pastor. I'll mash him up too. Or the imam. They can't come to me. They've tried it before, coming with all these books. Oh, yo, son, I've made this imam come down because I can't answer you, but this is the imam from the mosque. Nigga, I sent them back to the mosque with them stack of books. I ain't bringing no books. The book is me. I am the fucking book. You understand? That's why I write books. Yo, so don't let people trick you. Christians, Muslims, Jews, atheists, Kemets or Hoteps or whatever you call them, don't let them trick you, but learn the scripture for yourself, just so you can discern the truth, just so you can speak like this to other people, so they won't be able to trick your children. I know they probably can't trick you, But they can still be tricking our children if at home we don't know what to tell our children. We don't know how to answer the questions that they're answering. Dad, is God stronger than Power Rangers? Yo, my son asked me that when he was about 4. I had to sit down like, damn, what's the best way to answer this? You get me? But we have to be that direction for them instead of indoctrinating them and giving them these dead-ass religions to inherit when they ain't got no money, no property, no nothing. They still have to beg to be at a white man's job or sit at somebody else's table. Nigga, fuck that. So that's the racial and spiritual blindness that has been running for 6,000 years, man, since these niggas came out the cave. And it's got worse and worse and worse till pharaohs are gone and now we're just like this, niggas. Come on, man. Yeah, it's time. We're at critical mass now. And that's why we're in the quickening where there's only 12 hours a day right now. Where every hour we're losing a half hour and don't nobody even realize because we're so drugged up off this society, this matrix. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't even, yo, you have to learn the scripture for yourself. It's not to believe. It's so you leave no room for speculation or for somebody else to enforce their opinion on you. Revelation 2:9, that's talking about these same black devils, man. They are the face behind white supremacy. It's not just Muzungu. You understand? And they've tied themselves into our families. So we can have these black devils in our family. We can have them in our friend circles. We bump into them in our work colleagues and shit. We bump into them as antagonists in our life that just seem hell-bent on trying to make your life a misery. Do you understand? This whole roadman thing. Oh, I don't care about none of that Egypt stuff. Your money, bro. Guala. These are black devils, man. Yeah, spouses. Yeah, where you end up with a black devil spouse. I'm sorry for a nigga if you end up with one of these bitches, or if you one of these women and you end up with one of these black devil niggas. Oh my God, you better be paying attention, man. Yeah, get yourself some black devil ass kids and that. Fuck it, you know. Yeah, watch the company that you keep. The way I see it is when I see black person that don't want to have nothing to do with no culture, don't want to have no discussion about God, yeah, even if they don't believe God, yeah, they don't want to discuss it. Okay, why don't you believe God? You understand? Like, they don't want to have nothing positive to say about raising the standard of life for our community, man. And us as an entity, as a community, as a people, even as humanity, beyond race, yeah? So you got two different natures among black people. We are not the same. They look like us, but they're not us. You got one nature that comes from Enki, that is the super nigga, that's us. We want to dance, we want to sing, we want to be creative, we want to teach people, we want to spread knowledge, we want to have abundance, that's us, nigga, on our spiritually progressive shit. And then you have the other nature of black people that's on this demon shit, that's on this, yo, I want to kill everybody, I want to, yo, they just like the fucking white man. They the white man's father. You understand? You have two different natures and it's your job that every person, and right, it's that drastic, right, it's that critical right now where we are. Every black person, you got to profile them. Yo, is this one of us or one of them? Yeah, because that's what time it is. Yeah, I don't care if it's family, I don't care if it's your spouse, I don't care if it's your children, I don't care if it's at work or your boss or some stranger. Yo, you better start profiling these people. You understand? Just like you do white folk. When you bump into white folk, the first thing you say is, yo, is this a racist? Or is this a good white folk? You better start doing that with black folk too, nigga. I'm telling you right now, and Asian folk and everybody in between. Yeah? Watch the company that you keep and check their natures, man. Check their natures. Yeah? Because them black devils have got the nature of Cain. He was the first one. They bred these motherfuckers. Go to Genesis 3, verses 1 to 15. And it shows you that, hold on, the devil's got a seed. Okay, so he's breeding these black devil niggas. It resulted in Cain. Cain, his nature's different than Abel. And it tells you in Genesis 4 verse 7 that Cain ended up at the door of sin. You think it just means sinning. Nigga, Nana Sin, or Sin, is the son of Enlil. Do you understand that? And he's the god of the Sinai and Mesopotamia, a certain region, the Levant and the Sinai, is given to Enlil's son, Sin, or Nana Sin. Do you understand? And he's the father of Ishtar and Shamash. Yeah? So you're dealing with these children of Enlil. Do you understand? So when it's telling you Cain, his offer wasn't accepted by Anu and them, and he ended up at the door of sin, it's telling you, yo, these are black devils. And then they made their own self. They went into the land of Nod, yeah, and they made their own shit. And all of their children were being named after the children of Anu and stuff. So, yo, they named one of their sons Seth. Okay, we're going to name my man Seth. Enos. Okay, Enos. Okay. Yo, Selah. Okay, Selah. Yo, They do that to confuse the thing. Do you understand? And like I said today, you'll see them today, your Oprah Winfrey's, your Gabrielle Unions, your Jada Pinkett's. Who do you think these people are? You understand? What's his name? Stephen A. Smith, that sports broadcaster dude. Yeah? A lot of them are in America, but don't get it twisted. They're not just in America. Them black devils are everywhere. They in this city right here. This is how they took the world, man. They in Australia, they in India, they in England, they in America. But the hub for these black devils, these Zionist Jews, is America. I'm going to leave it right there, and I'm going to see if there's anything in the comments that I need to address. Because I think, just by intuition, the battery cried at me just now, yo, hurry up, or I'm going to cut. Yo, shout out to everybody who joined the live. That's why BLM movement was so important for them. Yes, do you understand? Now you can start. I've given you the lens now, you know. So you're going to start seeing all of this shit confirmed. You're going to be like, bastard, yo. You're going to start having these Kodak moments. That's one to mention. Shout out to Laria the First, yeah, for mentioning that. Shout out to Mahogany X and Empress Lotus, who always tune in and show man love, yeah? Yeah, these jewels are priceless, I'm telling you. I've been planning this in my head for about 5 days, but I only bullet pointed this morning, like, fuck this, I'm gonna go in on these niggas, man. Do you understand? I wanted to keep on topic because I could have went off into the Nazis and when and where Hitler faked his death and how these Nazis went to the moon and these black Jews were funding them and shit. But I'm going to leave that for Hitler's own live, where I'll do a live on Hitler ass. Do you understand? Because nobody ain't giving you the graph that we're giving you. Nigga, we giving you books, we giving you music, and we giving you lives. But I swear to God, some of you niggas that watch me is fucking on Enlil's side. Y'all are black devils, you understand? So shout out to every one of you that don't just consume, but you interact, because even your words for me or a comment, that's interaction for me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that gives back to me what I hope I give to you. You understand? If you're mute, I don't even know who you are. So fair enough, you watch the thing, but if you don't share it, that's a bit selfish, because if it makes sense to you, why wouldn't you share it to somewhere else? And if you're scared of what your family might say or whatever, then you're still under the spell, mate. You understand? So you got work to do on yourself, and that's not to criticize no one. But y'all should be wanting, if it hits you and resonate with you, then you should be sending it somewhere else, where you want it to resonate with them and to help the cause. Do you understand? But yeah, good point. Unapologetically black, man. That's how you have to have it. But when I say have a problem with the English word black, you see, English is the problem. This cursive language is a spell where they can do that with meanings and change meanings and stuff. That's not really our language, English. Yeah, in our language we call ourselves Kush, which means black. So in our language, I don't have no problem with the word Kush. It's not a legal term. It's how the ancestors define themselves. But in the Western world, where the white man's dealing with you in his lens, through his language, through his own interpretation, so his word black, that means something totally different. That's a legal term with his trickery and shit. So according to English, in English, no, I'm not black. If I'm speaking in Kemetian, yeah, I'm Kushite. You understand? It's kind of like a contradiction, but it's not, because I don't come from this fake fallen angel language. This shit's a spell that they put on me. So if I call myself what they say I am black, then I'm under their spell. You understand what I'm saying there? But if I go back to the ancestors, when they say Kemet, which means the black, or the land of the blacks, or Kemet Nu, the black people, or Kemet Ta, the land of the blacks, you understand? Or Kushia, the blacks, yeah? Or Kush, or Kashi, black, you understand? Or Sudra, if you go into the black people in India, they call themselves Sudra, that means black. So it's the English word you got to get rid of, not the concept of blackness, like black like this. Everything comes from the blackness, which is in the cosmos. If you took away all the stars and planets, if you take everything away, it's only blackness left. I come from that, which is immortal, supreme, infinite. It just is. It's always there. Strong, durable, yeah, royal, yeah, eternal. That's what I'm from. But their term, English term, black, that comes from the Latin word blanc, which means to bleach, to go pale. So therefore, I'm not black. Like Kali's right. But people won't give you that context. They just jump on it. Yeah, I'm not black. I don't come from Africa. You understand? That's just some dumb shit. Like, ask them to break it down. I bet they don't break it down like Jadefre just did for you. We can help by sharing this powerful information. Everybody needs to hear this. They do, whether they like it or not. And you know what the thing is? Someone said it on another video. A time will come when these videos will become gold. Yeah, it's just that, remember, we're in a comatose. People are under a spell. So they can't even see the value in what I'm doing here. And so what? Yeah, you lot seen it, 9 of you. And 9 is a sacred number. So shout out to all you, Julia, Rose, all of you, man. Like, this is what we're here for. I know it's you, Lars, Laria. I know who you are, Dan. You get me? But yeah, I'm coming off here, man. My mouth's gone dry and that. I probably look daft now. I've gone through all the questions, yeah? I love all of you guys. That's the end of the transmission. I'll be back soon. Namastu. Namastu.